This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, up to Wednesday now, September 27th. I'm Ray Collins. Glad you're with us. Early risers out there. John Scalzi says the hot weather continues here in the Suncoast. Good morning, John.
Good morning to you. How are you this morning?
Very good. Midway through the week.
Oh, that's right. Hump day. We're almost there.
Yep.
We're looking at some pleasant weather again today. I think mostly sunny skies, low relative humidity to start off the morning. But by afternoon, I think you'll notice an increase in the humidity. Over the next several days, we're going to keep adding moisture to the atmosphere. And by the time we hit the weekend, the rains will return. Talk about that in just a minute. Right now, we're looking at a cluster of showers down south of Cuba. Some of that will be lifting north over the next several days, and some of that moisture will help to increase our rainfall. Plus, we have a frontal boundary approaching. We have a low pressure area that may be developing. All of that added together to boost weekend rain chances. But for today, you'll see a lot of what you're seeing right now on Titan Radar, which is clear skies and not much in the way of weather. We'll put in about a 10% chance of a coastal shower, double that for inland areas, with a daytime high that tops out pretty near the 90 mark. Complete forecast coming up in a few.
All right, talk to you soon. First alert traffic now. Manatee County checking all clear at this hour. Checking farther south now into Sarasota County. Right along the bayfront, some issues there heading southbound on 41, otherwise clear. And checking our final map, all good except for one little blip there on the screen, southbound 41 after you get past the 41 bypass. 5:02 right now, the results are in regarding possible environmental issues at the former Bayshore High School in Bradenton. Some graduates believe that cancer rates are higher among the alma mater due to tainted soil on the campus. As our Rick Adams tells us, an engineering firm said there are no significant concerns.
Well, this is an issue that continues to stir up quite a bit of controversy. On Tuesday, the school board here had a chance to hear the results from the study. There's some relief for students and faculty at Bayshore High School in Bradenton. Test results from groundwater samples at the school show that there aren't any significant concerns, but there still remains some unanswered questions about the many cases of cancer in former students who attended the high school.
At least we know that the students and the faculty that are there now are safe, and they will not be exposed to the things that we were potentially exposed to.
Tampa-based engineering consultant GHD conducted the two studies and presented their results to the Manatee County School Board during a workshop on Tuesday. The group says they've identified 8 possible sources of contamination, including materials with asbestos to the 2 irrigation wells, all of which they concluded that there are very minimal risks to the students. School officials say this cancer cluster issue is far from over.
The determination of whether there truly is a cancer cluster needs to be completed before any other discussion of a resolution can be had.
Next up with all this, the Manatee County School Board is hopeful that the County Health Department will take a much closer look at this cancer cluster issue. Reporting from Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
A Sarasota family is making a plea for help to bring home their missing teenager. It's now been 23 days since 14-year-old Jabez Spann disappeared without a trace. Yesterday, his mother, grandmother, and Sarasota police chief came together to beg the community for answers. The missing teen hasn't been seen or heard from since Labor Day, and his family says it's about time somebody steps up and gives police information.
There has to be somebody that knows something. I'm asking you, if you want me to beg, that's fine. But I know that there has to be somebody out there with the heart that can say something.
We just want our baby back. Please.
Sarasota police have promised protection to anyone who helps give tips to find that young boy. During a stop in Bradenton, Governor Scott announced plans to request $50 million in funding requests to fight opioid abuse. The governor made the announcement at the police department yesterday morning in downtown Bradenton. The governor wants the additional funding for treatment and recovery services for patients. He also says he will propose to fight unlicensed pain management clinics, require education courses to prescribe opioids, limit opioid prescriptions to 3 days, and will require all prescribers to use the Florida Prescription Drug Monitoring Program database.
Making sure people understand when they're prescribing the risk, making sure that you can have a limited supply of these opioids is a big deal. Using the database will be a big deal.
Manatee County has among the highest opioid addiction rates in the entire state. Happening today, opening statements begin this morning in the trial of former Sarasota County Sheriff Deputy Frank Bybee. He is facing 20 felony charges for allegedly trying to steal money and kill a 79-year-old woman who he met during a routine call. Bybee's defense claims that she has a history of mental health issues, including emails where she threatened to kill herself. Bybee has pleaded not guilty. Another trial is set to begin today, this one involving a Manatee County man, one of 3 men accused of killing a couple in a house with 5 children sleeping nearby. Trey Nunnombre is facing 2 counts of murder. He and 2 other men are accused of breaking into a house overnight on Southern Parkway 2 years ago and killing a mother and father inside. The break-in was also caught on surveillance camera. Another man will go on trial next month, but the 3rd man took a plea deal already of 25 years in prison in exchange for testifying against the other 2 suspects. Northport police are investigating a suspicious death. Officers were called to a home on Roxbury Circle where they found the body of a 22-year-old man. They say it appears to be an isolated incident. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Northport police. Anna Maria's historic city pier could be closed for at least a year due to damage caused by Hurricane Irma. Several pier planks are now gone, and there's some damage to the infrastructure of the pier as well. And the pier restaurant had a roof torn off and remains closed as well. A Tampa engineering firm conducted an initial assessment of the pier last week and determined it is now in poor condition. Here's the mayor.
The damage was caused by both wind and the tidal action and waves that were as a result of Hurricane Irma. So we have a plan in place to move forward and do the repairs to the pier.
It could be a little bit disappointing, but hopefully people don't get deterred from traveling down here.
A lot of people like to come out, visit it. It has a pretty nice restaurant out on it. A lot of fishing goes on here.
Hopefully they'll get this back up and running because a lot of people like to go out here.
The mayor says they're hoping to get funding from the county and the state to help rebuild the pier. A local organization is being recognized by the White House for its efforts in combating the opioid crisis. A White House press release used Drug-Free Manatee's community opioid education workshops as an example of the ways coalitions across the country are making a difference in their communities. The purpose of the press release was to announce funding for the Drug-Free Communities Support Program. That program funds over 700 coalitions across the country, including Drug-Free Manatee, which is one of the recipients of that grant. How concerned are you about the costs of nursing home care? A new survey shows most of you have concerns. According to the USF Nielsen survey, 37% of the people surveyed were very concerned. 36% were somewhat concerned. Concerns are higher among women than men, 44 to 28%. The age group most concerned between 55 to 64. The summary says this age group is more aware of the actual cost of nursing home care since many of them are dealing now with elderly relatives in those facilities. FEMA is adding dates next week to help Manatee County residents register for damage assistance. They'll be at the Manatee County Central Library Monday and Tuesday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also at the South Manatee Library Wednesday from noon to 8 p.m. and Thursday from 9 to 5. They'll also be at the Island Library next Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Residents who attend one of those assistance dates should have a Social Security number, information about insurance coverage, phone number, mailing address, and also a bank account number as well. Religious leaders from across the state want to see a crackdown on high-interest loans in places like payday loans. They're urging the Florida Constitution Revision Commission to move forward with a proposed constitutional amendment which would cap loan interest rates at 30% a year. Those monthly loans, which use a person's paycheck as collateral, often have annual interest rates well over 100%. Supporters of the amendment say people who take out payday loans often have the least amount of money to start with, and they end up taking out a new loan every month in order to pay basic bills.
You go in believing that you can pay this loan back, but when you start getting those kinds of high interest rates and the fees that are attached to it, then somebody who, out of good faith, goes to take that loan finds out that they can't pay that loan off without taking another loan.
Now, any proposed constitutional amendments recommended will go on the ballot next year, November 2018, It would require approval of 60% of the voters. Happening tonight, Texas Roadhouse restaurants holding a benefit for victims of Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. More than 500 locations nationwide will donate all their profits to the American Red Cross and other local organizations. Texas Roadhouse restaurants across Texas and Florida have given more than 50,000 meals to shelters and first responders in the aftermath of the two hurricanes. If you want to take part, you can go to the Texas Roadhouse restaurant in our area, which is on State Road 70 near the interstate, between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. A local farm market is expanding to northern Manatee County. Detweiler's Farm Market purchased an 8-acre site with more than 50,000 square feet of commercial space for its 4th store in Palmetto now. Detweiler's Farm Markets began back in 2002 as a roadside stand. It's run by the founders and their 9 children. The company's main store is in Sarasota, opened back in 2008. They also have another store in Sarasota and one in Venice as well. The new Palmetto store will be the company's largest and employ more than 100 people. Some Sarasota County residents are trying to help victims of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. Our Dwayne Lindo shows us exactly what they're doing.
We are trying to do everything possible to help Puerto Rico.
Founder of the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce of Florida, Elizabeth Cuevas-Naunder, has been answering the phones all week, trying to provide aid for residents on the island, and more importantly, speaking to her loved ones.
I have no news of my families. I have no news of many small businesses that I work with there.
Nervous about her family, it's been a tough week, essentially seeing Hurricane Maria destroy her home country.
Right now, there are many areas where hunger is hidden and thirst, and the temperature is high. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's doing fine.
Naunder is teaming up with Sarasota physician Dr. Diaz Ramirez, putting together a plan for a country with more than 11,000 people in shelters. But there's a problem. Phone service and power is scarce. The largest airport on the island is still crippled a week after the huge storm, making it a logistical nightmare for Diaz Ramirez to send a group of physicians ready to provide adequate health care.
We have one of them in our house who just traveled 11 hours to get to our house to get into this team. And he's been here for 2 days already, not knowing if he's even leaving tomorrow because of the paperwork.
She's also heading a local effort to collect the bare essentials, such as clothing, toiletries, and food.
A group of physicians, dentists, and teachers locally. We have set up different centers for collections.
Even putting together a Facebook page called SRQ Helps Puerto Rico, all in an effort to help residents any way they can, urging anyone with family still there to hold on to hope.
Whenever they call you, it's like, how are you? What can we do? And a plan of action. Have that ready for when that family member calls you, because you don't know if when you're saying hello, that's the last time you hear them for days.
Dwayne Lindo, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
And Dr. Ramirez has several physicians hoping to go to Puerto Rico as soon as they can land there.
I'm sure they will be welcomed with open arms.
Have you been there before, by the way, Puerto
Rico?
Yeah.
I have, yes.
Yeah, me too. Nice.
Beautiful little island. It's just tragic to even imagine that there's no food, no water, a lot of places, no medicines, no sanitation. Just an awful situation.
It's a long, long rebuild there.
Yes, it is. We have across our region some pleasant weather today, but over the weekend I think things will shift. We'll talk about that coming up in a few.
Also still ahead, an amazing Suncoast woman who persevered through the worst of times. And later in the hour, the U.S. military will send ships to storm-ravaged Puerto Rico.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
We asked you, Suncoast, why do you like ABC 7?
I like ABC 7 because it's local. It gives me all the local news.
The local news, local weather.
It's so local and so community-driven. Haley Wilgus does a great job.
John Scalzi, that's my guy.
Bob Harrigan is wonderful. Stephanie's my favorite.
I like Scott Dennis. I like them all.
We're all very grateful that you cover what you do and you're here to participate with the community.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC 7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC 7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business. Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
It's a very pretty start to the day. We have a 73-degree air temperature and a dew point to match. 100% relative humidity and a north wind light at about 5. Starry skies out there right now. And Becky in Old Myakka says 70 degrees and just such a pretty sky. 76 degrees in Wauchula, Arcadia at 75, 74 degrees in Myakka City, 77 degrees in Punta Gorda and Northport. Parrish comes in at 74, so does Bradenton. Sarasota, as I mentioned, 73, 77 degrees in Venice. Across the region, right now, everything's very quiet. We did have a few thunderstorms in inland areas yesterday. Pop or two of lightning seen there, and more thunderstorm activity in the southern tip of the state, also on the east coast this morning. We have increasing moisture from about Tampa Bay southward across the region over the next several days. That will aid in producing a few more showers, mostly in inland areas. Meanwhile, close to the coastline, I think it's still going to be fairly dry. It's going to be hard to find a shower or two over the next day or so. As we head into the weekend, that could change significantly, though, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Across the region, Titan radar now showing everything is very dry, so your morning commute should be absolutely rain-free, should be fine. In fact, the drive home tonight should be pretty much fine for everyone. Only isolated showers popping up in inland areas later in the day, similar to what we saw yesterday. Across the nation, we have a frontal boundary kind of draped across parts of the Ohio Valley and down through the heartland into the plains in the deep south. Texas getting some rain showers and thunderstorms, so is Oklahoma. It could be a wet day there. If you're traveling to Houston or to Dallas, you can expect to see some rain showers around those areas today at those airports. Locally, everything is pretty good still. We have this broad area of low pressure kind of spinning around in the upper atmosphere. It has nowhere to go. The upper level winds aren't carrying it along anywhere, so it's stuck right over us. And it continues to kind of spin around some of this drier air across the state and reduce our rainfall chances somewhat from what they normally would be. But from south to north across the region, we're starting to chip away at that drier air, and I think we will be, as we head into the weekend, much wetter than we have been for the first half of the work week. There is our tropical system, now a tropical storm. Maria continues to pull away from the northeastern coastline, and that's a good thing, the mid-Atlantic coastline, I should say. The Carolinas have seen some slosh over on some of their roadways, a little bit of storm surge, some gusty winds at about 40 miles an hour. Something that, is more of a nuisance than anything else for the Outer Banks. Otherwise, the frontal boundary approaching will sink southward, and that front will make it into Florida by the weekend. The combination of that, plus a low-pressure area that may develop here in the East Coast, could provide us with kind of a wet weekend. But for today, mostly inland showers, a warm afternoon, mostly sunny skies. Again, another warm day shaping up for us. On the waters, maybe not a bad place to be. Northwest wind coming in at about 10 knots today. Should be a nice day with 2-foot seas and a light chop. Over the course of the week ahead, we'll watch for that moisture to slowly increase. Rain chances increasing significantly over the weekend with a combination of that front and possibly that low developing, moving across the state, giving us about a 50% chance, maybe even better, chance of showers and thunderstorms into the weekend. Back to you, Ray.
All right, thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic right now. A couple issues there. First off in Palmetto around Memphis. Also, Florida 70, right turn lane blocked at Ranch Lane Boulevard. Be aware of that. Just east of the interstate on State Road 70. Bee Ridge Road, issue westbound at Beneva, and also 41 southbound after you get past Stickney Point and Clark, a slowdown there. South County all clear at 521. Well, it is said that adversity reveals character, and if that's the case, our Linda Carson met an amazing woman who has a lot of character.
How are you doing? Nancy Aaron Basic is Director of Volunteers at Doctors Hospital. The Johnstown, Pennsylvania native has been a nurse for 41 years.
I graduated in 1976 from the University of Pittsburgh. And I was a staff nurse in Pennsylvania at a community hospital.
She followed her parents when they moved from Pennsylvania to Florida.
I moved down to Sarasota in 1989, and I worked at a few different healthcare facilities here in Sarasota. I was fortunate enough to meet the love of my life down in Englewood, Florida. We got married.
They moved to Nashville in 2002, and then she got the great opportunity to be the administrator of a rehab hospital in El Paso, Texas. While there, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Going through surgery and different things, treatment, sometimes could be trying. That's when I was the administrator of the Children's Hospital.
Her young patients helped her make it through.
They were happy and smiling and doing so many different things when they were undergoing cancer treatment. They were my inspiration.
She's fine now and loves her job as Director of Volunteers.
We have close to 250 adult volunteers, and during the summer we have about 30 teen volunteers. So they range from age 15 up to as high as we can count. 97, I think, is our oldest volunteer right now.
They do a wide variety of jobs.
They're everywhere in the hospital, from the information desks up on the nursing units, helping pass out water, helping the different services that need assistance.
Their volunteer work helps the patients, and it also helps them.
Statistics show that when you volunteer, it really improves your social life. You get to meet new friends, develop new skills. It actually increases your mortality. You live longer.
During Hurricane Irma, Nancy was in charge of the shelter at Doctors Hospital for the families of staff members who were working during the storm.
We had close to 450 family members of our staff here, as well as their pets. We had dogs and cats and turtles and birds.
And Nancy was thrilled to provide for them food, shelter, and a comfortable, safe haven during the storm. And her life lesson?
Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, and care and care and care about others.
And this amazing Suncoast woman is recruiting for volunteers for Doctors Hospital. She says if you sign up, it'll be one of the best experiences of your life. For more information, go to Doctors Hospital's website. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
A lovely person, that Nancy. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, a UK company best known for its pricey vacuum cleaners is now building electric cars. And next half hour, more sanctions against North Korea. We'll explain at 5:34.
This is an important medical announcement. Talcum powder products from some of the best-known brands have been linked to ovarian cancer. Any woman who has used a talcum powder product and has been diagnosed with ovarian cancer may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that women with long-term use of talcum powder, including baby powder for feminine hygiene, can increase the risk of contracting ovarian cancer. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to women who should have been warned about the risks of ovarian cancer with long-term use of talcum powder. Call the Talcum Powder Hotline, If you or a loved one used talcum powder and were diagnosed or died from ovarian cancer, you must call now.
Call 800-570-7599. 800-570-7599.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Another day begins at Nathan Benderson Park. That will be quite a busy spot in a few hours, where the 2017 World Rowing Competition is finally underway after 5 years of planning. We're almost midweek on the, well, we are midweek now on the races that wrap up this weekend, and our live cameras out there at the park. We'll have more on the races throughout the day here on ABC7. And send us your pictures. Also check out our respective ABC7 Facebook pages. I took a picture of John Scalzi yesterday on my page, and he still isn't aware of it. Check out that one and others on our pages. Welcome back, 527 right now. Twitter is testing a change to its character count. ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have the latest in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, twice as much to tweet.
For a select number of random users, Twitter is doubling its 140 character limit to 280 characters. Twitter says it'll save users time from editing down their thoughts.
And no word yet if the expansion will be available to all users. Dyson, the company best known for building fancy vacuum cleaners, is now getting into the electric car business.
The company's CEO is investing $2.6 billion in the project. He hopes to unveil the battery-powered car by 2020. And today is Google's 19th birthday, and the company is celebrating with a mega Google Doodle.
So the special birthday surprise spinner leads users to 19 games. All of them have been part of Doodles over the last 19 years. Among the games are Pac-Man and one where, this one, players hit a piñata.
That actually looks kind of like fun. And now I want candy.
Now we know what we'll do all day. Those are your Tech Bites.
Crohn's disease.
You're more than just a bathroom disease.
You're a life of unpredictable symptoms. Crohn's, you've tried to own us.
But now it's our turn to take control with Stelara.
Stelara works differently for adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease. Studies showed relief and remission with dosing every 8 weeks.
Stelara may lower the ability of your immune system to fight infections and may increase your risk of infections and cancer. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before treatment, get tested for tuberculosis. Before or during treatment, always tell your doctor if you think you have an infection or have flu-like symptoms or sores, have had cancer, or develop any new skin growths, or if anyone in your house needs or recently had a vaccine. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Some serious allergic reactions can occur. Do not take Stelara if you are allergic to any of its ingredients.
We're fed up with your unpredictability.
Remission can start with Stelara. Talk to your doctor today. Janssen wants to help you explore cost support options for Stelara.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Looking for carpet? Look no further. Minnesota Flooring has Smart Strand carpet as low as $1.79 per square foot. Installed, no add-ons or extras. Unbelievable? Minnesota Flooring can have in-stock carpet installed in your home in 48 hours for as low as $1.99 per square foot. Don't miss these prices. Visit Minnesota Flooring today.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs.
but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On Group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On Group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On Group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
This half hour on Good Morning Suncoast, President Trump plans to visit Puerto Rico to inspect damage from Hurricane Maria. Plus, we'll tell you if the president's choice for Alabama Senate won last night's primary. It's a race to fill Attorney General Jeff Sessions' former Senate seat there. And some college coaches are facing serious allegations today. We'll explain those stories and more right now on Good Morning Suncoast.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, 5:33 on this Wednesday, halfway through the week. We've made it this far. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie joins us at 6 o'clock. It is September 27th, and John Scalzi joins us now with details of another hot one in September.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks like we'll be pretty close to the 90-degree mark again this afternoon in most places. We'll have a chance at a shower as well, but again, like the last couple of days, it'll be mostly dry near the coast with only isolated showers in inland areas. Over the weekend, our rain chances are going to go up significantly, and we'll be talking about that in the upcoming half hour. Down to the south of Cuba, a cluster of clouds indicates increased moisture that's lifting northward. It'll move through the state of Florida and be joined by a frontal boundary plus a low pressure area, all teaming up together to boost our rain chances by Friday anyway, and certainly into the weekend. Today, though, we're looking at a radar that'll be a lot like the radar we look at this evening, which will be mostly a clear radar image. We'll have a daytime high. The top's out near 90, as I mentioned, and the rain chance only at about 10% near the coast. Complete forecast in a few.
Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic. Some buildup now on 301 in both directions around State Road 70. And also an issue continues east of the interstate on State Road 70. The right turn lane blocked at Ranch Lane Boulevard. I believe it says Ranch Lane. I can't. Oh, it's Lake. Ranch Lake Boulevard out northern Lakewood Ranch area. Farther south, 301, some problems there, southbound around 10th Street, and South County all clear at 534. Our top story, President Trump will visit storm-damaged Puerto Rico next week. Hurricane Maria was the strongest storm to hit that island in nearly 90 years. ABC's Lana Zak has the latest.
President Trump is answering questions about his response to the disaster in Puerto Rico.
Is Puerto Rico getting all the help it needs from you, Mr. President?
Puerto Rico is very important to me, and Puerto Rico, the people are fantastic people.
But on the ground, the island is in crisis. 95% of Puerto Rico is still without power, more than half of its residents without clean water. And take a look at this. What appears to be a line of parked cars is actually a gas line, while hundreds wait at the airport trying to flee. But there aren't enough planes, and those that do get out remember those that were left behind.
I left back my family, friends, and co-workers, and I'm here. And they are, you know, they don't have water, they don't have light, they don't have so many things that they need.
Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. Its residents are American citizens. But a week after Hurricane Maria, many say the federal response has been insufficient.
Are you getting the stuff you need fast enough?
No. No. And I'm sorry if that's not politically correct to say.
San Juan's mayor says bureaucratic red tape is holding up relief efforts. New York Congresswoman Nadia Velázquez on CNN went even further.
This is going to turn to be Mr. Trump's Katrina.
In response to the criticisms, the White House released photos of the president in the Situation Room being briefed on Puerto Rico, and he brushed off questions about whether he's been preoccupied by his battle with the NFL.
Was I preoccupied? Not at all. Not at all. I have plenty of time on my hands. All I do is work.
The Trump administration also announced that they would potentially be doubling the amount of U.S. troops helping out in Puerto Rico, and that the federal government would take up 100% of the costs associated with the emergency response. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
Meantime, Governor Scott says Florida is committed to helping Puerto Rico in any way possible throughout the recovery process. He has notified the Florida National Guard to be on standby. Scott is also asking Florida state colleges and universities to allow students displaced by the storm in Puerto Rico to be offered in-state tuition here. The Trump administration is adding sanctions against 8 North Korean banks, as well as some North Korean nationals working in China, Russia, and in Libya. The president also issued a familiar warning to North Korea, saying the U.S. is prepared to use devastating military action if necessary. This as Kim Jong-un's military moved a number of their fighter jets, fuel tanks, and missiles to a base on its eastern coast to boost that nation's military readiness. Developing overnight in Alabama, Judge Roy Moore won the GOP Senate primary over the appointed incumbent, Luther Strange. Strange was backed by both President Trump and Senator Mitch McConnell. The winner will fill the seat. Let me qualify this. The winner of this will go on to face the Democrat looking to replace Jeff Sessions. Here is Moore's comments last night.
This is a time for victory. It's a time to remember the struggles we've gone through, but it's also time to rededicate our lives to God and to the Constitution and to our country, to our families. Let's go again and make America great. Thank you. May God bless you.
President Trump has since deleted any tweets that endorsed Strange, so Moore will face Democrat Doug Jones in a special election in December. Several assistant college basketball coaches are being accused of corruption. The coaches are charged with taking bribes in exchange for steering players to agents or financial advisors. 4 of the 10 people charged are coaches. The others include managers, financial advisors, and representatives of sportswear companies. The coaches named in the federal complaints include Lamont Evans of Oklahoma State, Chuck Person of Auburn, Tony Bland of the University of Southern California, and Emmanuel Richardson of Arizona. From college basketball to the NFL and President Trump's comments last week about players standing for the national anthem. Reporter Karen Travers has the latest on the fallout.
President Trump has tweeted about the NFL nearly 20 times over the past 4 days, but he says don't call him preoccupied. He has the time to talk about professional football players because it's an important issue. President Trump didn't waste any time this morning before jumping back into this controversy, tweeting at 6:28 a.m., quote, ratings for NFL football are way down except before game starts, when people tune in to see whether or not our country will be disrespected. But the league says that's not true, that ratings for this weekend's games were up from the same time last year. The president's ongoing attacks on the NFL and some of its players sparking criticism that his priorities are misplaced, with a disaster unfolding in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria, a critical Republican Senate primary in Alabama, and the escalating tensions with North Korea. In the Rose Garden today, the president brushed that off.
Well, I wasn't preoccupied with the NFL. I was ashamed of what was taking place.
The president says the NFL has all sorts of rules and regulations, and he wants them to add one, prohibiting players from kneeling during the national anthem.
I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions gave remarks today on the right to free speech, saying the government doesn't tell Americans what to think or what to say. But he condemned the NFL players who've been kneeling, saying they can express their opinions without denigrating the symbols of this country. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Back in Florida, an arrest was made in a bizarre 3-decade-old murder case in West Palm Beach. Police arrested Sheila Keene Warren in Virginia on Tuesday for the death of Marlene Warren in West Palm Beach years ago. The victim was shot after she opened her front door for a clown carrying flowers and balloons. Detectives say Sheila Keene was that person in the clown costume. She later married the victim's husband. Officials say they suspected her all along but didn't have evidence to make an arrest until new technology allowed them to reopen the case in 2014. Fishermen in the Florida Keys are getting help from the air to find lobster traps that were lost during Hurricane Irma. Florida Sea Grant is sending 2 aircrafts with GPS-capable cameras over the island chain to document the locations of lobster trap clusters in the ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. The pilots are trained to identify areas where currents and wind pulls the traps, as well as the buoys and fishing lines. The data will be shared with fishermen and state wildlife officials trying to salvage the equipment. The lobster fishing industry is worth $150 million in the Florida Keys. I have a brother-in-law who was a lobster fisherman off Nantucket for decades.
Has he ever compared that? Well, I guess that's not a fair question because from Nantucket, he's obviously got his favorite kinds of lobster.
Very, very different, right?
Yeah, very different. But have you ever had a Florida lobster?
Oh, sure, yeah.
They are, I think, the best lobsters ever.
They're my favorite.
I love them. It's great stuff.
Lobster, baked potato, adult white beverage.
And then your life is full, complete, and satisfied.
That's all I need.
There you go.
Yeah.
We have some pleasant weather for you this afternoon. We'll talk about that coming up in a few.
Also coming ahead, their first alert traffic and how celebrities influence some of the choices we make regarding our health. That's next in Health Smart.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, AND services.com.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, AND services.com.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Nice starry sky out there right now, 73-degree temperature, dew point to match. That's 100% relative humidity and a nice wind. Breezy out of the north at about 5. It's a lovely start to the day. We have a lot of sunshine in store for you. The first couple of hours of the morning, I think, should be just beautiful. 76 degrees in Wauchula, Arcadia, and Mayaca coming in at 75. 77 degrees in Punta Gorda. Northport comes in at 77 as well, so does Venice. Sarasota, as I mentioned, 73. 73 in Parrish, and in Bradenton at 72 degrees. Don't have much rainfall across the state currently, except in the very southern tip of the state. There's still some thunderstorms in progress down there. And on the East Coast, there's been a few showers this morning, but otherwise, we have pretty quiet conditions here locally. There's just not a big issue with rainfall in the forecast today. Maybe inland, we see a shower or two, maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but that's about it. However, that is in the process of changing over the next several days as we increase moisture across the region coming up from the south. Back to the west, heading to, say, Texas today or Oklahoma City, well, you could have some issues. There are showers and thunderstorms around along a frontal boundary that'll gradually be drifting through parts of the heartland in Ohio Valley, down south into the deep south. And by the weekend, it'll actually make it into the northern part of the state before basically stalling out over us, or maybe just a little further south from us. Until then, we have this spinning gyre of dry air aloft that is kind of pushing a little bit of dry air across our region and helping to reduce our rain chances to much less than average for this time of year. But notice that the dry air is kind of retreating from south to north across the peninsula. That is an indication that we're starting to moisten our atmosphere and setting the stage for potentially a few more showers as we head into the weekend. There are 3 factors involved in increasing our shower chances this weekend. Well, 2 of them are pretty certain. The third is, still a little bit dicey. We'll be watching to see if it actually develops or not. But we're watching Maria move away from the coast of Florida. The first ingredient we already talked about was the increase in moisture across the state from south to north. The second ingredient is a cold front approaching. We already talked about that as well, making it into North Florida by the weekend and stalling out. The third ingredient we haven't really seen develop yet, but computer models are hinting that we may see an area of low pressure develop on the east coast of the state of Florida, probably by about Friday or Saturday, and then move across the state, enhancing our rainfall chances and enhancing them significantly. There could be some periods of heavy rain over the weekend if that low indeed does develop. So we'll keep our eye on that. Northwest wind coming in at about 10 knots right straight through the evening. And the forecast calls for a daytime high that tops out near 90 with better rain chances over the weekend. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Checking First Alert traffic now as you're waking on this Wednesday morning. An ongoing issue on State Road 70 just east of the interstate at Ranch Lake Boulevard. Be aware of that if you're coming from the east this morning. Farther south, issues there along the Bayfront and also south of Clark Road as you head south on 41, a congestion spot there as you head toward the South County area. Speaking of which, all clear, shouldn't have any problems at 5:49 on this Wednesday morning. In today's Health Smart, celebrities can influence what we wear, what we listen to, and what we eat. But a new study also shows they might influence our health as well. Mary Maloney has details.
Angelina Jolie's announcement in 2013 that she would undergo a preventive double mastectomy prompted other women to do the same. That's according to a new study. Researchers looked at hospital data from New York and New South Wales, Australia, over a 10-year span. 20 months after the actress's op-ed in the New York Times, researchers noticed the amount of procedures on both continents doubled.
The fact that she is leading women down that path to take a more proactive role in their own health is enormously encouraging. It just makes me think she's using her power for good.
It's not just Jolie. After Katie Couric's televised colonoscopy in 2000, scientists saw a 20% increase in patients getting the test, dubbing the significant spike the Katie Couric effect. Both cases showed the power celebrities have to influence healthcare decisions.
I've been very happy just to see the discussion about women's health expanded, and that means the world to me.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
Up next, your day's top local news headlines, and inmates at a jail are growing pumpkins for a good cause. We'll have the story after this.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Our accredited staff will handle all of the Medicare paperwork for free, and best of all, your brace is shipped directly to your home for free. Don't let chronic lower back pain slow you down. Get moving and stay active with a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost. We also accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, Aetna, Humana, and other insurance. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace covered by Medicare? Find out for free.
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-715-0835. That's 1-800-715-0835, 1-800-715-0835.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing. Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Watch your Suncoast News at 6 on your streaming device for a chance to win a $50 Visa. It's easy. Just watch weekdays at 6 for the word of the week. Then enter the word at mysuncoast.com for your shot at a $50 Visa. We'll pick the winner each week. Good luck.
There's a live picture from Nathan Benderson Park. There's the finishing tower that was finished in time for the games. The rowing races continue all this week. 70 countries are here. If you get a chance, check it out. It goes through the weekend. All eyes in the rowing world on Sarasota County this week. Welcome back. 5:54 right now. I'm Ray Collins. Two high-profile trials begin today on the Suncoast. Former Sarasota County Sheriff's Deputy Frank Bybee is facing 20 felony counts, including attempted murder. He is pleading not guilty. Plus, the second of 3 suspects goes on trial for killing a couple in their home 2 years ago on Southern Parkway in Manatee County. Trey Nonnombre pleaded not guilty as well. One of the other suspects, by the way, already took a plea deal. Get this, 25 years in prison in exchange for testifying against the other 2 men. More fallout from Hurricane Irma. First, the Venice Pier, and now it turns out the Anna Maria Island Pier will also close for repairs. And finally, inmates and pumpkins. In one Arkansas county, inmates are growing their own pumpkins, and they're sold to go toward a Franklin County Shop with a Cop event. That's where deputies take kids in need and give them a chance to buy items off the Christmas list. Similar program here in Sarasota. The money raised with those pumpkin sales determine how much the kids have to spend on their Christmas gifts this holiday season. A lot of folks like seeing inmates doing a little bit of work.
What's the program here in Sarasota?
Shop with a Cop.
Oh, I thought you meant they're growing pumpkins or something.
No, Shop with the Cop, Sarasota
okay.
Police.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a very good program.
Yeah,
very great idea. Yeah. We have some changing weather coming up over the next couple of days. We'll talk about that in a second.
More news after this. Stay with us.